Hi dears.
Hi dears, we are back. Hi, my name is Fee.
Hi, my name is Sue.
And this is Dear Bride.
Yeah.
This week we are still talking about friendships, guys.
Yes, it's a
And
friendship
this week's
series.
topic is
Mhm.
navigating different seasons in friendships.
Wah,
We are
it
getting
gets
deeper,
deeper.
and deeper.
Yeah, good.
Yes, Goddy Buster
Ask
Jesus.
deep questions. Yes. So we are having questions that we have not seen ourselves.
Yes.
So I will just pick the question, then ask, and then we'll give our opinions.
Yes, and feel free. Yes. Oh,
To
wow. To my think.
hey, feel free to
Comment.
yes.
Let us know what you do in these scenarios that we are reading out.
Yes.
And do you relate to anything that we're saying or not? Yeah.
And also, if you have not subscribed, okay, what are you doing with your life?
Yes.
Please hit a subscribe button. You can share with your friends. Have these conversations, even as we talk, you can share to your friends groups, call them and ask them those questions. So I'll pick the first question.
Starting? Okay.
Hey, let's see. Have you ever reconnected with a friend and realized you only missed the memory of who they used to be?
Yes. Okay. So in this specific friendship, I felt like they had a closer best friend than I was. That's one. So technically, they weren't letting me in on what is happening in their life.
Oh, okay.
So when we meet, it would be I would share my side, but they would never share their side.
They put limits to how much they would, what and how much information they would share with you.
Exactly. Okay. So now, at some point, I did reach out to just to see how we can rekindle the friendship. But quickly after I sent that text, I realized that probably I just missed the memories. So I haven't really technically reached out again, because also on the flip side, they haven't made an effort to reach out to me.
I get.
So I was like, because it seems like, yes, they could be open to reconnecting, but because technically hakuna the intentionality from both our sides, it's that's the realization. So I've let it go.
I think for me was just once when I reconnected with a friend who, I think life seasons had just made us part. No, it wasn't really parting ways. Like we had just gone silent because of the seasons we are in. But upon talking to them, I realized they were a totally different person.
Yeah.
Who, given the situation, I would not ideally be inclined towards being their friend. And so I thought, oh, probably it's because we were younger.
Yeah.
And, we were in school then, and who they were then is totally different
from who they are now.
Yeah. Because how they would even talk, I felt, I probably just missed the memories of us then in school, in high school, and in campo, but things have since changed, and they are totally different person, which is okay.
It is.
And so
really okay.
I was just missing the memories and not who now I was relating to.
Or sometimes you can be caught up in missing what the potential of the friendship could have been. Like maybe we would be going on trips, the vain things, but cine life.
New life, guys.
Wahenga said cine life. Wahenga's being Gen Z's. Okay. This one says, what fears come up when you feel a friendship changing? Is it 1, abandonment, 2, replacement, 3, irrelevance, and how do those fears shape your reactions? And then there's a caveat of why this hit hard. Why is this hitting hard? Like, why is it so hard? So I'll repeat the question.
Wow.
What fears come up when you feel a friendship changing?
I think for me, there's of course abandonment, because if a friendship is changing, it means the dynamics are changing.
True.
Maybe distance, maybe communication wise, time. Probably you used to spend more time together, now you won't be able to spend the time. Probably they were able to communicate more, and because of the phase they are in, they won't be able to communicate. Maybe the meeting, you will no longer be able to meet. So there is the fear for abandonment. And of course there's the fear for someone replacing you, because sometimes out of sight, out of mind. Let's just face it.
That's the truth.
Not always, but sometimes they will probably just forget that you are this close and probably find someone else to replace you in terms of what season they are in or where they are at. Because sometimes it's they have physically relocated.
Yes.
Sometimes it's that they are in a completely different season and they are not available or accessible. So there's the fear of abandonment and also replacement, I think.
I know. I think for me, it's the fear of, I think it's irrelevance. And probably it's something I noticed recently. I show up in friendships in terms of like, what am I relevant for? So I noticed some of my friendships are geared towards, like, when they start on the onset, it's more about, what problems can I solve for you? Because I am a fixer in a way.
You want to,
remember, sometimes I like having control.
Yeah.
So that means that sometimes I have solutions to the problems that you have. And the truth of the matter is, when you show up in a dynamic this way, it means technically, when there's no problem to be solved, you don't have, you're not relevant anymore. That has made me change the dynamics of how I show up. So it means if in our friendship I've been the problem solver option, then I've brought it out in that I feel like this is how I've been showing up, and I'd like to show up better. Or I'd want you to allow me, because you see also when someone is taking from you, they've boxed you in a space. So that means that you're simply the friend they call when they need
something or they want something done.
Yes. And so that's something that I've really been keen on, to just say, okay, this. Then I've also seen this other side of being, is it a replacement or abandon? But this one now I think also plays in on the relevance, where you have a friend who's doing better than you are, especially financially.
I get it.
And sometimes the tendency is for the friend who has more, right?
More financially enabled.
Yes, they tend to use that as the only tool for your friendship.
I get it.
So that means that whenever we connect, you're only either giving
in terms of,
or dishing out money. And so technically we don't have anything else we talk about. And I feel like that's something I've also noted, and I'm like, I'd like this to change.
Or they would probably just want to change I have a friend who, sorry to say, they probably felt they needed to change their circle because they were now more financially independent and stable, and they felt, I want to go to this class of these people who, are cool and all that. And so I can no longer be in friendships which boils down to choices. And they chose to walk away, and you let them. It's not that you would ask for anything, no. It's because they feel, probably in this place, I feel like I need to hang out with the big boys. Of course, you are in your own way, that they feel like I need to shift towards this other side. And you just let them, because the dynamics have changed. They have decided to abandon this friendship and move. So you just let them.
And I think I have actually been abandoned in friendships.
Oh, yeah.
Because technically, an entrepreneur bootstrapping, obviously you don't have the disposable income to, travel and do all these things. And sometimes for you to even get that money,
I get.
You're really trying. And then you see here we have projects we are doing.
There are things we are doing, that we are pumping
so by the
money
time,
into.
Yeah, so it just means like there's the fear of abandonment. But on the flip side, it has helped me show up more authentically.
Yeah.
Because what you see is what you get. So you get the Susie, if this is how I am.
It's not enough for you, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Bye. All right. Wow.
I know.
Deep questions. You guys can comment. Those of you, the fear of abandonment or, irrelevance or replacement, comment down below. Which one is it? So this next question, how do you distinguish between a friendship that's evolving and one that's quietly ending? One that's evolving and one that's quietly ending. How do you differentiate that two?
I feel like it could be the intention.
Yeah, me too.
Right? The intention in terms of,
yes,
am I willing to still put in the work?
Yeah, true, because seasons change, as we have been constantly saying, but you need to communicate.
Exactly.
Because I know evolving happens, but how do we articulate that so that the other person is able to understand, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm feeling. I feel like this time I need space and not constantly communicate.
Yeah.
I need time to just discover what I am going through, or just make out of what it is that I am going through. Communication and intentionality.
Yeah.
You might not, of course, show up as you used to show up, but you need to communicate it and make it understood that this is where I'm at, this is why I'm behaving the way I'm behaving. But then a friendship that is ending, people won't want accountability. They'll just fizzle out and go.
Then it ends and
there's no explanation. Yes. You try, like as you're saying, you try to reach out to someone, they're not responding. They don't want to talk. Then that means they just want it to slowly end.
And if there's a grievance, there's the openness to want to take accountability.
Yes.
Because I mean, then what are we doing if you can't be accountable?
True.
Yes. We can call each other out or say, we've noticed we are not doing well. We sit down and we say, okay, we want to do better. All right. What are the parameters we are putting in place? So we are saying we'll probably meet every once in a month, have weekly phone calls probably, have an experience we are doing together. It doesn't have to be traveling. It could be something. But what are we doing? Also, there's a part where probably now being intentional, like bringing you into my space. So that's something also people don't do. There's a video I watched where it said that this chick was saying she doesn't like friendships where people compartmentalize. Where you put me in a box of I am the friend of
you are the one who does
problem
this
solving.
With me.
Yes.
These are my friends for finances. For me. I get.
Yes. Because I mean, why, if I'm your friend, why wouldn't you want us to talk about finances
everything
and get better?
Yeah,
I understand not your friend can't be everything.
True.
There's that part. But I feel like compartmentalizing allows you to get away with the connectivity and the intentionality of it. Then also it brings about mismatched, you are mismatched in terms of alignment. That means that I could be more invested in the friendship than you are. And I won't know up until you tell me, oh, wewe tunakupigianga when
and you don't and you don't reciprocate the same. I think that's it. We need to be intentional. We need to communicate.
Yes.
Otherwise, the friendships will end. If you don't
will.
water something, how then will it grow? If there's no intention to, manure even a plant when it's not watered, it does not receive sunlight. There's a lot that goes into it. If you do not do that, then it dies. Same thing applies to a friendship.
True. Very true. Okay. Is it possible to genuinely celebrate a friend's growth when it highlights areas where you feel stuck? I feel like yes.
Yes.
Even though I know a few episodes ago I said something different. In a certain scenario.
But you give the caveat.
Yes. I feel like you can genuinely celebrate a friend.
Yeah.
But the disclaimer is you must be, it has a lot more to do with inner work as opposed to your friend.
Your friend, yeah.
Yes. Because let's say you are high flying, you have, or rather, let me say, I've been trying to, actually a good scenario is this one. I wanted to be a career girly. I'm not. You are a career girly. At some point we were both in the same
yes, it's true.
But then Fiona has moved to a career girly, doing things, in the NGO space and whatnot.
Yeah.
Even though I chose business, there's a part of me that would have loved to do what? To be in spaces like Fiona is in, right? And have some of the opportunities she has. Is it possible for me to be happy for her despite my side, yes,
it's true.
It is. However, it has taken a lot of inner work, because Fiona succeeding doesn't take away from my journey.
It's true.
And once you are content with where you are, I feel like that is what helps. The only thing that now, comparison is a thief of joy. Yes. And I feel like when you start comparing, start being ungrateful, what is working in your life? I think that's a practical way of looking at it. Can you actually be able to look at your life and see what is working, despite the fact that many things are not working?
That's true. And also, I think it's a good place to say that contentment with godliness is great gain. Because now then you will be content with where you are in life, knowing that you're a work in progress, and not compete. Because I think sometimes what steals the joy is there's the competitive spirit, where you want to compete with your friend as opposed to now celebrating them, where you are like, no, I have to do better than they are. I like to tell people that you're in a competition with no one. True. There's something that I read somewhere, which I was talking about to a friend, where someone was asking, do you feel left behind in life? And the other person was responding and saying, behind who? Behind what? Because I cannot relate to a party that starts when I get there. So your party starts when you get there, and you cannot compare yourself to or with anyone.
Yeah.
And so, so that's my take on it.
However, realistically,
I know, yes,
the matter is that you might also just feel stuck.
Yes.
I feel like in such a scenario, it is important. And the disclaimer is this only works in ideal friendships. Because there are friendships where if you tell your friend, I'm feeling behind, I'm feeling kind of this way about the opportunity, it's not like I'm not happy with you, with what is happening in your life,
but
I'm going through. The reality is currently my life sucks.
True.
If you don't have the avenue to have such honest conversations, then it can be hard to also be genuinely happy for someone.
It's true.
And there are times you can be genuinely, you're happy, yes, but
it's
even me, I want my turn to get there. So there's a lot of nuances around it, and what I can say is take one day at a time, especially if you're the friend who's feeling stuck. And what I'd tell the friend who is doing well, there's a place to celebrate, and as you celebrate, remember to pull your friend
to what your friend is going through and pull them in.
Yes. And also don't dim your light, because I feel like there are some times when a friend is stuck and the other one is succeeding, because you're succeeding, you'd tend to dim your light so that you can accommodate me, and that shouldn't be happening.
True.
Have honest and real conversations
like we are having
in
this set. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to the next question. So this says, have you ever tried to hold on to a version of a friend that no longer exists? Why do we do that? Like, you hold on to a certain version that no longer exists.
I think we don't like change as human beings.
Yeah, change is hard.
We don't like change, and then the familiar just feels good.
Yeah.
And that's why sometimes people stay in bad, toxic relationships. Yes. You have seen the red flags, but you're still there. Exactly.
Like, it's better the devil you don't know than the...
Exactly.
Yeah,
so such situations, I feel like, it's possible for you to hold on to something that is not good for you.
Not good for you anymore. And not healthy. It's true. We do that because we fear exploring new friendships, new connections. We don't know what they might hold, so we close ourselves on the familiar.
Yeah.
So I think we hold on to but also benefit of doubt. You always hope that they will get better. Have you ever seen someone saying, me, I'll go on with them and I will change them? Or they will get better?
Yes. Yes. But I feel like this is like a marriage. What you see during the dating stage and the courting stage is what you should expect in marriage.
Yeah.
Just amplified.
It's true. Amplified. Stress capital.
Thank you. Amplified.
So
hii mambo ya ati I can change them, no. However, what I'm seeing also is most of the things we're talking about have a lot to do with inner work.
Yes.
The more you work on yourself, maybe you should try business, because being an entrepreneur forces you,
sharpens you.
Your identity just changes, and you have to do the inner work. And I think it comes from things like people pleasing, wanting to, just being an avoidant, not wanting to address things. Yeah, so do the inner work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I love the conversation. I'm also learning by the process. I'm like, I should correct that. I should.
Yeah, I know.
Hey.
Yeah, bells in a ring. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
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 I hope this conversation is as important to you as it is to us. Like, if you're learning something, and feel free to comment below and tell us what you're thinking about the conversation so far. The other question is, what does it look like to love a friend deeply but no longer relate to who they've become? There's a lot of letting go in this episode.
I know.
What's happening?
What's happening? Yeah, these questions. Gosh, no
so
longer relating.
Bye.
Deeply loving someone.
I think it's like the scenario you shared in a previous episode where we are just not. You're not a bad person.
Yes,
we are not bad.
We are not bad people.
But we're just not good.
Where
together.
we are, yeah, it's where we are at and where life is. You know, where the season we are at is just not allowing us to be together, or maybe it's the changing that has happened. Maybe your values have become different, so you love them as a person for who they are, like in terms of who you knew them to be, but because of this change of value that is totally different from yours, that you do not agree with, it doesn't mean you hate them.
Yes,
you still love them,
yeah,
just that there is the separation that comes because your values have grown into very different directions.
That's true.
And so you still value and wish them. Of course, you don't wish that something bad would happen or anything. You wish for the very best for them. So you deeply, deeply love them.
Yeah.
But then you realize we are no longer aligned.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think for me, how this looks like, because it says, what does it look like to love a friend deeply but no longer relate to who they are, who they've become? It's true. Wishing them well. Being okay with not being in the same spaces.
Yes.
Because now we are not attached to the hip anymore.
Yeah.
We don't share probably values or principles.
There are things that have changed.
Also, this looks like it means that probably if this is someone you would ordinarily invite to, let's say, your special occasions, or
no longer.
It means that they are no longer there. But let's say we meet on the Instagram streets, you will, write a good comment, probably, but not every single time maybe. Or if I were to meet you on the streets, I wouldn't ignore you.
Ignore or pita.
Yes, I'd say hi, pleasantries here and there, and then everyone goes their own way. I think that's how it looks like.
I get it's not someone who, given, if you're told to recommend them, you'd write bad things about them. You still love them deeply, so you want the best for them.
Yeah.
But then you are mature enough to realize that space is needed.
Exactly.
Or it's just not meant for you. Deep conversations. Yes. Gosh, let me pick the next one. And probably after this, we'll pick just one more or two. Let's see. Do you believe some friendships are only meant to exist in specific version of ourselves?
Yes.
I think I alluded to this. I am a strong believer of this. I'm a strong believer of, there are friends who come to your life for a certain season, for a certain version of me. And there are friends who you will outgrow them.
Yeah.
There are friends who will be for a lifetime. And so it's good to recognize the difference. Know who has served their season and their purpose, and who is there for a lifetime. So I'm a firm believer that specific friendships only suited certain versions of me. For example, right now, I would not cultivate a friendship that is against marriage.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are specific friendships that after a certain
you're
season,
simply saying nasty things about marriage and whatnot.
I would not ideally cultivate or water that friendship.
True, very true.
So it's certain versions of ourselves. There's someone who I was seeing online saying, let me reintroduce myself. They were a feminist to the core. But they have realized, actually, because of how life has spanned out and how things have changed, I am, allowed. I support.
Yes.
I'm a female, I'm a girl's girl and everything, but I have changed and I support other views that wouldn't necessarily be accommodated on this other side. Yes. And so quite a number of people on that post would comment, oh, you have changed, oh, we will no longer, oh, and that is fine because she has changed and become someone else.
That's true.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll just say ditto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we are wise. Okay.
Yeah, you guys.
Have you ever felt like you and a friend were living in completely different realities? And how did that affect your connection?
Different realities. Yes, I think I have ever had friendships where, especially I think because of my upbringing and my background, I had a friend who told me, well, it's like you're not living in this, in this world. You have the best views of who people are. People are not good, people are bad. Basically because I grew up knowing, around so much love, not seeing a lot of bad things and everything. I think I have seen very different versions of even family after my mom's death.
Yeah.
But prior to that,
Yes.
I think she shielded us from so much that we saw the best of people.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who told me,
Where
uko, you're not realistic by the way.
I wish you
Where I wish you ujekuwa in touch ukajua just how bad people can be. So I think they were feeling like I can't relate to what they were saying in terms of how cruel, how bad people can be. And it was because basically informed of my view and how I have seen and how I have grown up. So I felt, okay, they feel like I'm not in touch with reality.
Yeah.
And even my husband has even told me that, oh, jekula shida wewe ukajua.
Oh, well, actually, now when you say that statement, I'm like, yeah, it's true. Kuna the inverse. Or when you meet friends who have had it easy.
Yes.
And you're just like, wewe.
Where
ujui wewe.
Touch grass. I hear Gen Z saying that. Touch grass.
How does this affect the connection?
How does it affect?
Like it makes, because we can't relate. Hakuna kitu ya kudiscuss.
Sabu huyu, sorry to refer to a certain nini where one of the people were being asked, have you ever showered using a basin? They're asking, why would I do that? What's that? Oh, Johnny, Jeff. Yeah. So how would, and then this is the other person on the other. What's that? And why would I do that? So it definitely affects how you relate.
That's true.
Definitely does.
But do you think that you can have two different realities and find a common ground?
Yes, if both of you are willing. Takes two to tango.
Yeah. But obviously kutakuwa tu na you always have those.
Kuna hizo undertones.
You're like, huyu.
But it never work. It can actually work if both of you are, he comes meets you, they come meet you, you also do the work and move in towards them. That will work.
That's true. That's true.
It's my turn.
Yes, it's your turn.
I think this is the last question we will pick.
Yes.
Which asks, when a friend enters a new phase, career, relationship, personal growth, what insecurities can that bring up in you? Like you have a very close friend, they have entered a new space in terms of maybe they were not working, they've gotten a job, maybe they were not in a relationship, now they are, or maybe there's some growth of sorts happening to them. What insecurities does that bring up in you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Practically, I feel like I've not had. Okay. Oh, yes, I've had. That's a lie. I've had. There's a friend, we were in the same element or same vicinity in terms of whatever. We were both doing business, but then now they got a job.
Okay.
I was happy for them for getting their job. But then there's also the feeling of, why am I behind?
Feeling like,
why am I
being
left behind? Yes, because I have been at this business for this while, and bootstrapping is not easy. And so there's the fact of, even me, I'd like a break. When is my big break?
Yeah.
So I feel like the being left behind of, I hope they will not leave me behind, because now at this point we are not in the same space. Sometimes there's this tendency when you have the same struggles, sometimes it's the one thing that, bunches us up. And it's a Kenyan culture for sure also. Yeah. So this is the thing that, hey, hata mimi, mashinda. Or like now we floods. Oh, hata flood.
I get it.
Such things. And then now you see in a comment section when someone says, oh, me, it didn't get flooded. People start saying happy birthday Beyonce. Such things. Yes. And so I feel like in such scenarios, when now the dynamics shift and okay, your situation has now shifted and it's changed, there's a tendency to feel like, okay, maybe I've been left behind, or the worry of now that they've moved forward, will they leave me behind?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of relationships, mostly there are people who are of this opinion that most ladies, when they get married, they abandon their friendships.
Also in the marriage dynamic.
Terms of, I think that's something we should discuss at some point.
Definitely talk about it.
Yeah, and in terms of career, I think it just depends on how willing and intentional the two of you are. Because of course their schedules change, things change, but how willing are you to work on it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
true. Very true.
I think so. These are different dynamics and how to navigate. Today has been intense.
It has been intense.
Those questions are quite something, and they're thought-provoking and reflective. Please feel free to engage us and give your opinions, your ideas down below. We will engage with you.
And what you would do in some of these scenarios, would you be jealous if a friend's dynamic has changed in marriage, friendships, job-wise?
What are your insecurities when such things happen? Please feel free to comment. Even give us a story of this is what happened, this is how I took it, this is where I'm at. We'll walk together.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it for today.
That's it for today. Bye. See you on the next one.
Cheers. Bye, dears.
Bye, dears.